Okay, go ahead.
This is episode 52 of Fans Talk TNA. My name is Nick, and with us is Garvin. Say howdy, Garvin.
Howdy, Garvin.
Tonight, we're going to recap and review the October 28th episode of Impact Wrestling. Before we get started, if you enjoy these conversations and you want to make your own contribution, how about joining the Squared Circle of Trust? You can help us cover the costs of recording, hosting, and distributing our episodes, and all it takes is $1 a month. With that dollar, or more, you can find the entire archive for this series, as well as others from the Fans Talk family, as well as other perks. For us, the knowledge that we have feedback and support helps us to keep doing what we're doing on a whole number of levels. So you can head on over to fanstalktna.com right now, click on that big green button, and find out more. Okay, this week on Impact, we had 6 matches in the World Title Series. To get started, we had Matt Hardy beating Robbie E for 3 points. Spoilers, they were all victories for 3 points. Drew Galloway beat Grado. Aiden O'Shea defeated Crazy Steve. James Storm beat Abyss. DJZ defeated the X Division champion, Tigre Uno. And Gail Kim defeated Awesome Kong in the main event. So, Garvin, what did you think about the matches? Did any in particular stand out to you?
The only match that... Well, okay, let me rephrase here. I would say Robbie E versus Matt Hardy was probably my favorite match of the 6 that we saw, primarily because of how Robbie E looked. I mean, he looks like a credible contender, and the way commentary is building him up, he looks like a credible contender. So I like that they're not trying to make him that jokey character. They're not really making references to his time with the Bromance. It's like, Robbie E has a chance here, and he almost picked up a win over Matt Hardy. So yeah, I thought that was a great match, and just a great illustration of how to build up everyone as credible.
Yeah, absolutely. I have enjoyed the way they're treating Robbie E. They're still talking about how they didn't think Robbie E had it in him, and they're all surprised by how well he did. But, he's getting the rub from Eddie Edwards, a vaunted tag team specialist and many-time champion around the world, and Matt Hardy, who's basically the same and was, not too long ago, if only briefly, the World Heavyweight Champion. So, yeah, it's nice to see Robbie E get that sort of push. For me, I particularly enjoyed Drew Galloway and Grado. I think we saw different sides of both guys in that match. A little bit of what you can see if you watch Insane Champion Wrestling over in Scotland, which I haven't, but I've heard tremendous things about. Just the fact that Galloway wasn't the loud and straightforward, full steam ahead kind of juggernaut that he usually is, and he was trying to push Grado to do better, to get mad, to get passionate, and we saw that from him. So I really enjoyed that. The post-match interview with Grado was particularly entertaining. What is my keys? You see my keys, mate? Yeah, I think overall we had a good night of excellent wrestling.
Yeah, and just as far as the Drew versus Grado match, I like that they didn't make it completely obvious that Drew was going to win. They did shed some little tiny hints there that maybe Grado can, sneak a win or steal a win. So, I thought that match was well done as well. The thing that like I made a note of is just, 2 things. First, the spot where Grado has him in the Tree of Woe, and Drew somehow was able to lift himself up in that position, grab Grado, and super German suplex him. I thought that was a fantastic spot.
Absolutely, that was incredibly sick.
Yeah, and the other piece was just watching Grado and how they're building him. It really reminds me of just how EY was presented and acted in the ring when he was holding and going after the TV title. So he's kind of like that lovable loser that you want him to win. And it seems like they're going in the same direction with Grado.
Yeah, I definitely see that. There's also maybe a hint of what EY was doing when he was petitioning MVP for a title shot, the World Heavyweight title. And it was that, yeah, I've been a nutcase and I've been treated like a joke, but people forget I'm a world-class wrestler. I don't think we'd get something exactly the same from Grado, but who knows? Maybe we could get a more legitimized, more serious Grado. Okay, so if the World Title Series ended today, your round of 16 would be as follows. Group champions hasn't really changed. Austin Aries and EC3. Same for Group UK. That's Galloway and Spud. The Knockouts has become a little bit of a dead heat with Kong, Brooke, and Gail Kim all sharing 3 points.
Well, it seems like most of those divisions or those groupings are all a dead heat.
Yeah, the same goes for Group Wildcard and TNA Originals. A. O'Shea got on the board with 3 points. The same with James Storm. Tag team specialists, nothing's changed there. Matt Hardy and Robbie E are still the only guys with points on the board. That'll change next week when the Wolves go head-to-head. DJZ got on the board in the X Division, and Group Future 4 is still the same. Jesse Goddard's, and it's Micah and Eli Drake with 1 point apiece.
So, Nick, here's my question for you.
Yes.
X Division or Knockouts Division, which grouping do you think has a better chance to actually be successful in this tournament?
Realistically, I would think the X Division. I think the Knockouts are going to give a strong showing, especially if it's Gail Kim moving forward, and I'm thinking that Awesome Kong will as well. But we already have the precedent of X Division wrestlers challenging for the world title and successfully, like with Austin Aries and Chris Sabin. I don't necessarily know if any of the X Division guys are going to actually make that jump where they're, I don't know, in the semifinal or final round. Just because none of them are, built as well as Aries or Sabin were. None of them have that impressive a resume, I don't think. The closest one to me would be DJZ, and I don't know. I just don't see him on the same level as a Rude or as an EC3. No.
Yeah, I'm with you. Everyone in this X Division, I really do not see having a good chance once we move forward. Even with, if you just look at the top 3, DJZ, Manic, Tigre, Uno, you're most likely looking at DJZ and Manic moving forward, but neither of them would be a good champion in my mind, at least not right now. I suppose because part of this will be built up afterwards, as far as like all these post tapings. Like I don't necessarily know how this is going to move forward, but I can imagine that they're going to do like the final title match or the maybe the semifinals soon, right? Or do you think it's all taped?
I'm not really sure. We're definitely going to be getting the tape content for a while to come, but I just don't know.
I think out of the 4, Manic is the only one that they can really tell a good story and get people to get behind him, like an Austin Aries, like a Chris Sabin. The only issue though is because some of this was taped. He's still almost held back just because of his partnership with Revolution at the time.
Yeah.
So
I guess as I think about it, they almost have to have the final portions of this tournament. They have to do new tapings, updated tapings after Bound for Glory.
You'd think.
Yeah. Um, with that in mind, I think Manic could definitely make a good push. And, I wasn't really thinking about it before, but he's held the X Division Championship at least as much as DJZ has.
Right.
And he's got an incredible story. And I don't know. I think he's got what it takes to pull that off. Maybe you need to season him a little more. But, yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Looking forward to next week. We've got Brooke versus Madison Rayne, Mahabali Shera versus Kenny King, Davey Richards versus Eddie Edwards, and in the main event, you got Bobby Roode versus Eric Young. Do any of those matches sound appealing to you?
Definitely the Davey Richards versus Eddie Edwards match, just because these are two tag team partners competing against each other. So I think that just adds like a very interesting element to it. Bobby Roode versus EY, while it will be a good match as far as wrestling matches go, it's something I'm not necessarily looking forward to because I've seen it so much. It's very similar to how I felt about Gail Kim and Awesome Kong. And, this week, Kong versus Gail I thought was a good match. And I really like that they went over 10 minutes. I don't think any of the other matches did, or at least I don't remember the timer as prominent as it was during this match. So, but at the same time, it's like we've seen it so many times as of late, and I don't want to see it anymore. I want to see something different, infuse some more competition in between them or something. But yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on the main event there. It's just been something that they've done a lot of. I figure we're still going to be getting a good match out of it. It's just one of those that I think we're going to want to see maybe end quickly. I don't know. I definitely agree with you as far as Davey and Eddie go. That's going to be a barn burner of a match. Probably going to steal the show, I think. I'm actually kind of looking forward to Shera versus King there, just to see how those two styles mesh together. Powerhouse versus Kenny King is really a jack of all trades, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, as far as like the second match that I would want to see, yeah, it would be Mahabali Shera versus Kenny King, just because we still haven't seen a whole lot from Mahabali Shera, and Kenny King, his match against Lashley. Him going up against a bigger guy, he held his own. So it should be interesting to see how this plays out, considering how dominant Shera has been.
For sure. Do you think we're going to see a Future 4 match on this week's?
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too. Just because I think they need to get a full-on match shown. We talked about maybe why they didn't do that last time around, and I hope they've kind of gotten that out of their system to where they can actually show something. But
yeah, I think the Future 4 is the most interesting grouping, just because these are all guys that you could see given enough time to really be something awesome inside of TNA. So yeah, I think I would love to. Hopefully we do, but yeah, we'll see.
All right. Well, we've covered this week in Impact. We've looked forward to next week. Really, that's about all for Impact. Do you have any final thoughts, Garvin?
Yeah, the only other thing that I wanted to note about this week was just the fact that we got to see a little bit more of Aiden O'Shea's character, and I really enjoyed that. Just how he played with Crazy Steve, I thought was great. And while his his taunting of Crazy Steve did give Steve the advantage. It never took him out of the game. So yeah, I'm really enjoying Aiden O'Shea. I'm hoping he does well in this tournament.
Yeah, same here. I'd love to see Aiden stick around long term past the World Title Series. If that happens, I hope he gets real theme music, not the typecast Irish stuff. But yeah, other than that, the guy's been phenomenal. I really enjoy him. All right, that's it for tonight's Fans Talk TNA then. Now, this podcast family couldn't be happening without the support of our Patreon subscribers, our Squared Circle of Trust. If you'd like to get in on that action and help us keep things running and get a bunch of fun perks in the process, head on over to fanstalktna.com, click on that big green button, and find out how you can help with just $1 a month. For Garvin, this is Nick, and we hope you'll join us as we talk again next week. Fans Talk TNA is part of the Fans Talk podcast family and can be found at fanstalktna.com. The Fans Talk podcast family is a subsidiary of Tiger Creative LLC.
Bye.